Tyler Perry has been dominating the Netflix charts recently with his psychological thriller drama movie, Straw. With a star-studded cast including Taraji P. Henson and Teyana Taylor, we knew this movie would be something that would have us shook, and now that we've watched it, holy hell, we're still reeling. Taraji gives us a fantastic portrayal of Janiyah, a single mom who's cornered by fate, finances, and loss in every aspect. By the end of the film, you're probably wondering what's real and what isn't, and we don't blame you at all. The psychological unraveling of Janiyah's psyche is truly something, and if you haven't seen this movie, we highly recommend watching it before continuing with this video, as we'll be discussing some major spoilers. With that said, join us as we unpack this film and answer every unanswered question. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves though, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to the channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. What is Straw really about? At first glance, Straw appears to be a single-location thriller. Taraji P. Henson's Janiyah is at the center of a hostage situation in a bank, but as we dig deeper, we realize that the movie is less about the hostage situation, more about the internal breakdown. The narrative presents a desperate woman who just wants the money for her child's lunch and medication, using that to reveal a more heartbreaking reality than ever. Janiyah is a single mother who's struggling to stay afloat in a world which seems to be completely working against her. With each passing moment, you can see how the whole world seems to be against her. Her desperation grows, and so does her isolation. Every time she asks for help, Janiyah is either met with indifference or cruelty. The title Straw is clearly referencing the idiom, the last straw, showing Janiyah's mental state. With each passing moment, we can see how Janiyah's mental stability is being worn out, and then the final push comes and everything snaps. The straw is also in reference to the fragile life that Janiyah is leading, held together with barely any threads, and when one bad day happens, everything falls apart instantly. On the surface, it looks like a crime thriller, but actually the movie is all about character study. We as the audience are forced to sit with Janiyah's pain and understand how a loving mother can end up doing something so extreme. What was the straw that broke the camel's back? It's undoubtedly easier to pretend that her collapse came out of nowhere and she simply went cuckoo bananas, but that's not what happened. In the movie, we witness her unraveling. Oh boy, it gets tough to watch. All of her hardships, which are manageable on their own, are accumulating on top of one another in a matter of 24 hours. The movie opens with her behind on rent, caring for a daughter who's sick, and trying her best to survive in a system that's actively working against her. Then things get worse. Janiyah gives some money to a neighbor, which her landlady notices and throws a fit over, promising to throw out her stuff by the end of the day if Janiyah doesn't clear out her rent. She goes to work at the supermarket only to get a bottle thrown at her when she explains company policy. Right as she's about to clean it up, she gets a call from Arya's school, and she begs her boss to let her go. Her boss gives her a 30-minute break, which isn't enough to make the drive, but Janiyah goes for it anyways. At school, her baby is taken from her because the teacher found bruises on Arya's back, which she got when she seized in the bathtub, but they assumed the worst. Janiyah makes her way back to work, hoping to arrive on time, but she cuts out of the lane, only to almost hit the car of an off-duty cop. He throws his drink at her and then intentionally bumps into her car, only to call for his colleague and get Janiyah into as much trouble as he can. The colleague, despite hearing Janiyah's plea, gave her a ticket and impounded the car. So Janiyah reached her work 2 hours later. Her boss fired her. When she went back to her home, she found her stuff and Arya's expensive medicine out on the lawn getting drenched. She returns to her manager, hoping to get her paycheck and cash it, her last shred of dignity and relief, and well, her manager refuses. Right then, some robbers show up and start taking the money from the manager. Janiyah took the money, refusing to give it to the robbers, and a scuffle ensued. In the end, Janiyah ends up shooting one of the robbers, and since the man said her name, obviously reading it from her name tag, her manager assumes she set this up and calls the cops on her. So, heartbroken and cracking, Janiyah shot her boss, left the store with just her paycheck, and entered the bank. She tried to find solutions and tried to keep moving, but it wasn't enough when the system was designed to break someone like her. So when she walks into the bank with her gun, she's just there to cash her check, even though she's no longer the woman she used to be. But she couldn't even get that. She's not a villain, she's simply another woman crushed by unrelenting emotional strain, capitalism, and institutional apathy. What actually went down in the bank? When Janiyah enters the bank, she's armed and she's dangerous. The customers and the employees are scared when she whips the gun out of her bag, but here's the thing. There's a certain kind of calmness about the scene. Janiyah doesn't want all of the money. She simply wants her $521. When the cashier tries to pay her more, she refuses. He only wants her paycheck and nothing more. With just one move, Janiyah managed to hold the entire system hostage demanding justice that she had never received until now. But that's when things start to take a turn for the better. Nicole, the bank manager, and the other hostages try to understand Janiyah instead of blaming her. They understand that she is just a mother who's in a situation that no one wants to be in. In this crucial moment, Detective Raymond, played by pop icon Teyana Taylor, shows up. Instead of dealing with Janiyah like she's a killer, she speaks with her like she's a person, not a threat. The dynamic between the detective and Janiyah shifts from a standoff to a mutual vulnerability. Nicole, the bank manager, also goes through a shift. At first, she was cold, distant, and professional, but as time goes on, she begins to sympathize with Janiyah. She sees the exhaustion on Janiyah's face, the desperation in her voice, and starts to respond to Janiyah comfortingly. We soon understand that Janiyah isn't here to hold up the bank, she's here to hold up a mirror to everyone's face, showing them something that can no longer be ignored. So in the bank, it's not Janiyah who's holding up everyone. Instead, it's the bank and other systemic institutions that are holding people hostage the entire time. Why does this film hit home? I'm not a big crier when it comes to movies, except of course the opening scene of Up, but when it comes to Straw, I found myself tearing up a little bit every now and then. That's because the most powerful aspect of this film has to be its tonal unease. You can feel the grounded realism and the surreal tension seeping through each scene. You can definitely feel the same instability that Janiyah feels. So in some moments, when you see her boss screaming or the CPS worker talking to her, it feels like we're in Janiyah's shoes. We feel the emotional beats that she's feeling. Tyler Perry leaned into this completely. He didn't want us to feel safe with the tight, intimate close-ups that soon became claustrophobic. The bank is less of a setting and more of a pressure cooker where things are getting more heated with every moment. Throughout the film, we get jump cuts of flashbacks which don't make sense at the moment at all, but once the twist is revealed, it makes those flashbacks look like emotional landmines waiting to pop. Another reason why this film hits so hard has to be how it portrays grief. Grief isn't a straight line, it's a loop. Grief unravels and sweeps you off your feet. It makes you feel like the past is actually the present and the future is simply non-existent. That's what Straw explores throughout the storyline, and it does so beautifully. As we watch the movie, we spiral along with Janiyah, making everything feel more and more visceral with every shot. What actually happened to Arya? For the majority of the movie, we know that Arya is gravely ill and she is getting embarrassed in school since she doesn't have $40 for lunch. She has seizures, and that's why Janiyah is super careful about her. But things take a turn when Janiyah drops Arya off at the school and is called back because the teacher called the CPS worker. Arya is apparently hungry all the time, sometimes even dirty. Janiyah tries to tell them that the bruises on Arya are from the time when she tried to bathe on her own and hurt herself because of her illness, but seemingly no one believes her, and Arya is taken away. In the entire bank scene, we see Janiyah repeatedly talk about Arya and her $40 for lunch. She even tells Nicole to bring in Arya after everything is over, and Janiyah is taken into custody. But all of this changes when we see the final bit of the movie. When the FBI got involved in this whole situation, they reached out to Janiyah's mom and called her. Janiyah told her mom how Arya was taken away by CPS and needed her $40 when the truth came out. Arya actually died the night before. She suffered a fatal seizure, and up until now, all the scenes with Arya that we saw were nothing but delusions of a grieving mother. This twist isn't just shocking for the sake of drama, it's the emotional core of the movie. It explains why Janiyah is behaving the way she is. She lost her baby, she blames herself, and would do anything to bring her back, even if it means just getting that $40 for lunch that she wanted so bad. With this scene, we can understand that Janiyah is mourning and she can't let go. And in that heartbreaking moment, we realize that Janiyah knew all along that Arya was gone, but she didn't have anyone to talk to about it, or even say it out loud to, since she was all alone. All of this had just been a cry for help. What does Detective Raymond represent? It was a blast seeing Teyana Taylor on screen as Detective Raymond. She's not a stereotypical cop, she didn't once blame Janiyah. She tried to see what was happening underneath all the chaos. She was the only person who was trying their best to de-escalate the situation instead of trying to make it worse. She humanized Janiyah when no one else would. Detective Raymond's work in this whole thing was more spiritual and less procedural. She represented the empathy in the system that we all want but rarely get to see. Throughout the whole standoff scene, Raymond reached out to Janiyah, opening up to her about how children of single moms think about their mother's actions, and managed to de-escalate the situation quite a bit. When Janiyah said that she would only come out if the officer who had threatened her was gone, Detective Raymond immediately went ahead and tracked down the cop. She stood up for what was right. She was the lifeline that was missing in Janiyah's life all this time: compassion. This makes her confrontation with Janiyah after the latter steps out of the bank even more heartbreaking. Does Janiyah get what she wants? Janiyah starts off the entire movie with just one goal, her paycheck. She wants to buy Arya's medicines and give her the $40 for lunch. But as the layers of straw peel back, it becomes clear that what Janiyah wants is something far deeper and tragically unattainable. She wants to fix what's broken. She believes that there must be something, anything she can do to save her daughter, her dignity, and her future. Every moment we see Janiyah in the bank, she's working to fix her life, to save Arya, and feed into this tragedy that has spiraled out of control. But now we know that Arya is already dead. So the agency that Janiyah wants to get, the miracle that she desires, neither would come. The medicine isn't needed. Janiyah's desperation isn't rooted in logistics anymore, it's rooted in denial. Her mind had fractured itself to protect Janiyah from the truth and the full weight of grief by constructing a world where everything was all right. Janiyah still has a mission, and her identity as the mother of Arya is still there. That's what she wants to preserve. She cannot get what she wants because Arya is dead, and she cannot bring her back. Janiyah gets something that she doesn't want but needs. She has Nicole, who softens up to her, and Detective Raymond, who really listens to her. For the first time in the movie, Janiyah is no longer suffering alone. She's surrounded by people who see her and understand that she's not a monster. She's a human in unbearable pain. What happens to Janiyah in the end? The ending of Straw is haunting. We see the denial finally leave Janiyah. She realizes that all of this was done because she was stuck in denial. The scene where the FBI goes into the bank and shoots Janiyah is a vision, but we believe it's a symbolic representation of the delusion ending in her mind. When Janiyah snaps out of it, she joins hands with Nicole and walks out of the bank. There's no rush, no shouting. She leaves the gun in the bank and walks out holding Nicole's hand. She's gently put in cuffs by Detective Raymond, who reaches out to her. Janiyah doesn't react, perhaps because she has finally let go. She's let go of the fantasy, the fight, and the unbearable weight she was carrying. Sure, Janiyah lives to see the next day, but there's no will to live left for her, no mission to succeed in. Janiyah echoes the struggles of single mothers and how difficult it is to work and survive in a system that's focused on crippling them. Why was the ending so divisive among viewers? Like most Tyler Perry movies, not everyone felt the same way when they walked away from Straw. Some felt like the twist was a betrayal, while others praised the emotional complexity and social commentary. Some fans felt like the revelation of Arya being dead the whole time was a bit manipulative. It was like a bait and switch, and they didn't like it. But other fans found that same incident crucial, as it gave the tonal shift necessary to elevate Janiyah's action and change the meaning of the entire film. Straw inherently is a slow film, and fans who were accustomed to fast-paced thrillers found this movie a bit frustrating. However, others found this pacing justified, as with each lingering shot, we too feel the instability that Janiyah is feeling. The tonality of Straw is also debated. It walks this fine line between realism and surrealism. Not everyone found it to be effective. Some viewers would have preferred clearer answers, but others felt this kind of blurring between emotional and physical reality enhanced the movie experience. Lastly, we have the ending. The movie doesn't end in triumph or catharticism, it just ends. Some fans found this a bit unsatisfying because of the lack of a neat conclusion, but for others, the silence of this movie was the answer they were looking for. Marvelous verdict! Straw isn't just a film, it's a gut punch. It's the embodiment of mental health, grief, and systemic neglect mixed all together. Janiyah's descent into madness is heartbreaking, and the final twist of the movie forces us to confront the most uncomfortable truths about the society we live in. We understand why Janiyah went as far as she did and what she wanted in the first place. We understand how, through Janiyah's experiences, we are witnessing how the systems put in place to protect us, help us, and take care of us are failing. We also understand that the main thing that made the biggest difference in Janiyah's life in that stand was the woman who decided to stand by her. Also, we have to admit that we felt like there was a bit of gender critique happening in the movie. The majority of the women, minus the landlady and the young cashier, were nice to Janiyah. Even Detective Raymond mentioned that she should be the one to talk to Janiyah, since a woman's voice might be the key to opening up negotiations. Similarly, most men in the film, except Benny, are super rough with Janiyah, be it a police officer, her boss, or even Detective Raymond's partner, who keeps painting Janiyah as this evil killer. The empathic view of female rage and female camaraderie is truly beautifully portrayed in this movie. Sure, some of the plot points of this film are a bit obvious, but overall, it's a good movie. Definitely worth a watch if you want to feel something a bit visceral and emotional. Let us know what you guys thought about this movie in the comments down below. We're really curious about it, and we're looking forward to seeing you next time. If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Otherwise, thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and have a marvelous day.